Have you ever felt like your life was collapsing from the inside, even when everything looked fine from the outside? Have you ever asked yourself in the silence of the night, why am I even alive? Or who am I really? Welcome back to the channel. I'm truly honored that you're here with me, because today I'm sharing something deeply personal, not a theory, not a philosophy, but a lived experience, the journey through the darkest depths of depression, and how a seemingly obscure ancient text, the Diamond Sutra, helped me find my way back to light. This is not a story of instant miracles or blind faith. This is a story of breaking down, breaking open, and ultimately breaking free from the illusion of a self I clung to so tightly. And maybe, just maybe, if you're struggling too, this story might offer you a way out. Let me take you back. There was a time in my life when everything seemed fine on the surface. Had a job, phone, rents. On paper, there was no reason to complain, but inside, I was drowning. Every morning I woke up with a weight on my chest, not physical, but emotional, mental, existential. Questioned everything. Why do I feel so empty? Does nothing bring me joy? Why, when I'm surrounded by people, do I still feel so alone? I became a ghost in my own life. Sleep was elusive. Socializing felt fake. Smiling was an effort. I began to withdraw, spiraling into numbness. Eventually, I saw a doctor. The diagnosis: major depressive disorder. It gave me medication. Took it. It helped me function, but it didn't help me live. Made me a machine, eating, walking, breathing, but not being. One rainy afternoon, I wandered into a library just to escape my own thoughts. Randomly picked up a book with a golden cover. It was titled The Diamond Sutra. I didn't expect much. Heard of Buddhist texts before, but they always felt too lofty, too abstract. But something about that title spoke to me. Maybe it was the word diamond. Something unbreakable. Felt anything but. Flipped through the pages, not expecting to understand. But then, a single line pierced me like lightning. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew or a flash of lightning, thus should they be contemplated. Stopped. Read it again. And again. Then, something cracked open. Was it possible that all of this pain, all this me, all this my failure, my sadness, my identity, were not solid, not permanent, not ultimate truth? That perhaps what I've been defending, protecting, mourning, was just a projection, a collection of stories I had told myself about who I was. I began to read more, slowly, not to memorize, but to understand. And what the Diamond Sutra repeated again and again was this: the self I thought I was, the one I hated, the one I tried to fix, the one I thought was broke and did not truly exist in the way I imagined. That was radical. Wasn't saying you don't exist like nihilism. Was saying the fixed identity I had clung to was false. That identity, I am depressed, I am unworthy, I am alone, was just a mental construction, a form, aim, fleeting weather pattern in the sky of awareness. And if that's true, then maybe, just maybe, I wasn't broken. I was just misidentified. That was the beginning of my healing. Not because I had faith, but because I had finally questioned the very thing I had always assumed, the I that suffers. The sutra said, if a bodhisattva has the perception of self, of person, of sentient being, of lifespan, he is not a true bodhisattva. Reflected, maybe my suffering wasn't caused by lives, but by my attachment to the story of me in that life. I began to notice how often I used I in my inner talk. I'm not good enough. I should have done better. I'm worthless. Each sentence carried the weight of a self-image I never questioned. So I started to experiment. Every time a thought came, I asked, who is thinking this? Where is the I that feels hurt? Can I find it, or is it just an echo? I found that when I looked closely, the I would vanish. All that remained was awareness. Spacious, clear, present. For the first time in years, I didn't feel trapped. I felt free. Not because the pain had gone, but because I was no longer identifying with it. I wasn't denying my emotions. I was learning to witness them, to hold space for them. Let them rise and fall like waves. To stop making them part of a story about me. That's what the Diamond Sutra teaches. That when you drop the illusion of self, you don't become nothing. You become everything. You merge with life, not as a separate struggle but as presence itself. One day, I was walking in the park, birds chirping, children laughing, leaves rustling. For a brief moment, there was no me. There was only this. Breath, sound, smile. And I cried, not from pain, but from relief. I realized I'd been fighting myself for so long, trying to fix me, heal me, improve me, when all along, the one thing I never considered was letting me go. That was the key. The key was not in becoming a better self, but in realizing the self was never a prison with real walls. Only shadows pretending to be substance. Light always exposes shadows. That light was awareness. And so I committed to this path, not as religion, not as dogma, but as practice. Read the Diamond Sutra daily. I didn't always understand it intellectually, but something deeper responded. I meditated not to escape, but to observe. I journaled not to complain, but to deconstruct. Chanted not to beg, but to anchor myself in the now. And bit by bit, the fog lifted. It wasn't a straight line. There were days I cried. Days I questioned. Days I fell back into despair. But each time I remembered even this is a passing cloud. The sky is still here. The self may curtain, but awareness doesn't flinch. That became my refuge. Not hope, not success, not positivity, but silence, stillness, presence. And from that, a new kind of life emerged. Life no longer revolving around what's wrong with me, but instead flowing with what is. Forgave myself, released grudges, reached out to people not to get love, but to share it, stopped measuring my worth, started appreciating the mystery, stopped performing, started being, and slowly became whole, not because I found myself, but because I stopped needing to. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. If any of this resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever struggled with the weight of identity? Has a spiritual text, a teaching, or a realization help you shift your perspective? Let's walk this path together. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might be silently suffering. You never know whose life you might touch. Until next time, may you find the courage to let go, the strength to look inward, and the peace that comes when you stop searching and simply are. Thank you for watching this video.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.